Hello, and welcome to Visa Verge News, where we dive into the latest stories shaping immigration policies and public services. I'm Victoria, and today we're talking about some big changes at the Department of Homeland Security, including layoffs that could impact U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, or USCIS. Joining me, as always, is Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Hi, Victoria. It's great to be here. This is a complex and important topic, especially when it comes to how these changes might ripple through immigration and public safety services.
Absolutely. So here's the situation. The Trump administration recently rolled out major layoffs across multiple federal agencies, including DHS. Over 400 employees were terminated from DHS alone, and of that, at least 50 were from USCIS. These reductions are all part of a broader effort to streamline the federal workforce. Ryan, what stood out to you about these layoffs?
Well, the scale is what really jumps out. The Department of Homeland Security took a big hit, with agencies like FEMA losing over 200 employees, and CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, letting more than 130 workers go. For USCIS specifically, the loss of 50 employees could significantly impact its ability to process applications like citizenship, work permits, and green cards efficiently. Those are services that millions of people rely on.
Right. And USCIS, as we know, operates largely on the fees it collects from applicants. So it's not just a federal agency, it also functions in some ways like a revenue-driven organization. You have to wonder how this reduction might affect processing times for immigration benefits.
That's a great point. Delays in processing could cause real stress for applicants trying to work, live, or study in the U.S. And beyond USCIS, let's not overlook the broader public safety concerns. FEMA's reduced workforce, for instance, could affect how the government responds to emergencies. With climate change increasing the severity of natural disasters, will fewer employees mean slower disaster relief?
It's definitely a concern. And looking at CISA, which is tasked with protecting U.S. infrastructure from cybersecurity threats, losing over 130 employees seems risky in today's digital age. Cybersecurity experts have already raised alarms about how this could compromise our defenses against hackers and digital attacks.
Exactly, Victoria. The justification behind these layoffs, as stated by DHS, is that they've targeted non-mission critical personnel in probationary status. Essentially, these are employees who haven't yet gained full civil service protections. DHS argues this will save nearly $50 million, but critics argue that it could come at the cost of losing skilled workers and weakening critical services.
And that's where the tension really lies, doesn't it? The administration is framing this as a cost-cutting measure to eliminate inefficiencies, but unions and critics worry about a potential brain drain. Losing experienced workers might create long-term challenges, especially in areas like immigration processing or disaster management.
Definitely. And let's not forget the public reaction. Delays in immigration services or limited access to disaster relief could directly impact thousands of people. These are tangible disruptions that people will notice. There's also the political angle. Workforce reductions of this magnitude are bound to cause backlash, especially if essential services falter as a result.
True, and I found it interesting that the Trump administration did attempt to offer buyouts as an alternative to layoffs, but even that program faced legal challenges from unions, although it's now moving forward after a temporary halt.
Right. And while buyouts might sound like a softer approach, they've still sparked criticism. For some employees, their termination notices came with little or no warning. It's unsettling for workers and for communities that depend on these agencies' services.
So where does this leave us, Ryan? It seems like the administration's workforce optimization initiative, this broader plan to shrink the federal government, may create as many questions as it claims to solve inefficiencies.
That's a fair summary, Victoria. While the administration plans to curb waste and save money, the potential downsides, like slower immigration processing, weakened cybersecurity, and reduced disaster response, could affect public trust and satisfaction. Only time will tell how these changes play out.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Thanks, Ryan, for breaking it all down with me.
Always a pleasure, Victoria, and thanks to our listeners for joining us.
For more immigration updates and analysis, visit us at visaverge.com. Stay informed, and we'll see you next time.